Welcome to Screw the Commute, the entrepreneurial podcast dedicated to getting you out of the car and into the money, with your host, lifelong entrepreneur and multimillionaire, Tom Antion.
Hey everybody, it's Tom here with episode 304 of Screw the Commute podcast. Today we're going to talk about how to create great audio products. Audio is not dead. It's going crazy, in fact, with podcasts and audio products and audible.com and all of these things. So check this episode out. Hope you didn't miss episode 303. That was Raquel Gardner. She's been a working actor for the last 30 years and coaching actors for 7 years. The thing is, you won't even believe when you look her up online that she's even 30 years old. All right, so check that out if you missed it. Now, how would you like to hear your own voice here on Screw the Commute? Well, if the show has helped you out at all in your business or given you ideas to help you start a business, we want to hear about it. Visit screwthecommute.com and look for a little blue sidebar that says send voicemail. Click on it, talk into your phone or computer, and tell me how the show's helped you. And also put your website on there so I can give you a big shout out in your own voice on a future episode of Screw the Commute, where thousands of people will hear about you. Make sure you grab a copy of your automation ebook. This is an ebook we charge $27 for, but it's just powerful, powerful, powerful. How many times do I have to say powerful? It saved me millions of keystrokes, helps me steal business off of other people that are too slow to get back to you. All the tips and tricks I use. Grab it at screwthecommute.com/automate free, screwthecommute.com/automate free, but then implement the darn ideas. All right? It'll save you all kinds of work, tell you the truth. All right, and while you're at it, grab a copy of our podcast app. That's screwthecommute.com/app, that's APP, and you can do all kinds of cool things on your cell phone and tablet and take us with you on the road. Now, we're back in more waves of this stupid pandemic, and I'm getting sick of this. Not from my behalf. It hasn't changed my life a bit, other than I got to take a bandana with me everywhere I go. All right, but other than that, my business is no different. So you can have this, and you didn't listen to me 20 years ago, some of you. So now's the time to learn how to make money from home, so you're not stuck in traffic. Remember, screw the commute. And learn these skills. Now, I have formalized my training in two ways: a mentor program, which I'll tell you about later, and a school, which is the only licensed dedicated internet marketing school in the country, teaching these hardcore skills that you need to have an in-demand skill out in the marketplace. I mean, you got your kids spending fortunes going to four-year college, and all they know how to do is protest when they get out, right? They can't get jobs, or they're competing for jobs at Starbucks. Well, this school teaches the things that are needed by every business on earth, so you can write your own tickets. You can start your own business. You can work for others, or both. There's no reason why you can't. So check that out at imtcva.org. And then call me. I'll discuss your future, your kids' future, your grandchildren's future, nephews, nieces. I mean, it's a great legacy gift you could give them if you have some extra cash rather than a car or some depreciable thing. This is something that can give them a career within a few months, literally. All right. Now let's get to the main event. How to create great audio products. I've made a fortune with audio products over many years, and even though we have all these other methods of conveying information, audio still sells today. Well, why? Because it's the only medium where you can learn or be entertained while doing something else. You don't see too many people jogging down the street or working out at the gym trying to watch videos on their iPhone, right? They're listening to stuff. Yeah, many are listening to free podcasts like this one, but many are listening to paid information products. So you do what I tell you in this episode, and they could be giving you their money. Now, the first thing I need to emphasize is that you must get it in your head you're going to produce high quality audio. Now, this doesn't mean you have to spend $100 an hour to go to a studio like I did for my first product. In fact, even though that product is still selling today after 28 years, okay, it's the worst recording I ever did. I was in a tiny sound booth, sweating like a pig, very uncomfortable and worried every second about making a mistake because the clock was ticking at $100 an hour. This is 28 years ago. Now, you don't have to suffer any of that nowadays. I'm producing way better quality now on my computer for free than I did for $100 an hour then. And I'm going to tell you how to do that in this episode. Again, I want you thinking great quality. See, having poor quality will hurt you in several ways. Audio listeners have a hard enough time listening through earbuds and headphones on, the proverbial trains, planes, and automobiles. If your quality starts out poor and gets worse by the time the listener tries to listen on tiny earbuds, they'll surely not be happy with your product. They'll either ask for a refund or never buy anything from you again. Now, there's one hard and fast production rule. I want you to get this in your head. People will put up with poor video, but they will never put up with poor audio. Remember that. Another reason poor quality will hurt you is that the best podcasts and audio products are really well produced and easy to listen to on any kind of device in any noisy setting. Your quality is being compared to known good quality recordings. If yours is always poor and others are always good, well, you're going to be thought of as poor quality, and that's going to translate into people feeling you aren't a quality person to do business with. You don't want that. Now, in this episode, I'm going to concentrate just on you sitting down or standing in front of a microphone, if that suits you better, and recording stuff. Yeah, you can do other kinds of audio products with guests and interviews, but I don't want to complicate things here. I know I resisted doing audio for a long time. Then when I sat down and did it, I couldn't believe how easy it was. My first product was 28 years ago. I told you about that, and it's still selling today. Talk about a return on investment. So I want to get you to that point where you can't believe how easy it was to create a piece of intellectual property. And like I just told you, if you have an evergreen topic, which means it doesn't change much over time, you could still be collecting money from it 28 years from now, or even pass it on to your children as an intellectual property asset long when you're gone, okay? I know we don't want to think about that right now, but that's the truth of it. So we're just going to talk about you recording yourself and creating a finished product. And frequently in a matter of hours. That's a pretty good deal, wouldn't you say? All right, let's get started. Now, the first thing you have to consider is where you will record. You may have multiple places right in your house that you could record in, but which is better? The first thing I'll ask you to consider is, what are your floors and wall like? Do you have large areas of bare walls that bounce the sound around like crazy? Do you have hardwood or linoleum or stone floors that do the same thing? Maybe you have a smaller room with carpeted floors and things hanging all over the walls that will deaden the sound, and that would be a better place. Now, I'm not going to ask you to buy expensive acoustic foam and glue it all over your walls, all right? I sure haven't. But you have to do something so you don't have let me actually say harsh surfaces where sound will be all echoey and bouncing all over the place. Now, for walls, you could put up large decorative wall hangings made of cloth. For floors, you could put down area rugs. And I know you're saying, well, will that really make a difference? Yes, it will. It'll be totally different sound in the room. One other option would be to set your microphone up in front of a closet full of clothes. You speak towards the clothes, and that makes a great sound deadener so that only your voice is going into the microphone, not 10 versions of your voice bouncing from all over the walls and floors of your place. All right, now let's consider outside noises. I mean, do you live near an airport, or does a train run by your house 6 times a day? Well, you may need to adjust the time of day that you record to avoid noises from those sources. Maybe you live next to a busy road, so you set up at the farthest point away from the road you can in your house. Some people even make a studio out of a shed behind their home to get away from noise from kids and dogs and road noises and whatever else might be getting on your recording. Now, I've got another do-it-yourself idea for you to cut out outside noise. Listen to this. Not much money involved in this. Get yourself a cardboard box, maybe about the size of what a microwave oven would fit in. Now, if you don't have one, go down to your local U-Haul, and for $1.50, you can get a moving box, or Walmart probably has some of them. Cut off the top flaps. Then go to Walmart and get yourself some foam bedding. It's the kind that's used from getting bed sores if you're laid up in bed. You know, it's all bumpy. Take a razor blade knife, cut it up, and glue it on the inside of this box. So you got a box now covered inside with foam. Then turn the box upside down so that the open part is sitting on your desk. Take a razor blade knife and cut an upside down U-shaped hole in the side of the box, so now it looks like a little mini dog house. Put your microphone in the box, and then you talk into the U-shaped hole. You will be amazed at the beautiful sound quality you'll get and the amount of outside noise that will be cut out from reaching the microphone. And you got a couple dollars invested in it. Also, when you're recording, turn off loud air conditioning units, fans. I even had people with fish tanks making gurgling noises and grandfather clocks and whatever else is making noise in the room. See, you got to really think about this because you live there and have become accustomed to these noises and sounds. But anything I just mentioned could ruin your recording. Okay, now you got a great place to record. What's next? Well, all great recordings start with a good microphone. And yes, just a good microphone can produce a great recording. But it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. I mean, microphones sometimes are $3,000, right? But literally, you're looking at $60 to $100, all right? You can do this. Now, do not be tempted to use a cheap noise-canceling headset with its pitiful little microphone at the end of a pitiful little boom. I mean, do it right and get a good microphone, all right, will you? I mean, to keep it simple, get a USB microphone that will plug right into your computer. Put it on a mic stand, a scissors boom. That's one that you can move around. If you've ever seen pictures of, still shots of me doing the podcast, I have a scissors boom. Or a desk stand, a little short one. And some of them come with their own desk stand, like the very versatile Blue Yeti microphone. And I've seen these on buying apps like Facebook Marketplace and OfferUp and Let Go for as little as $60. And never pay more than $100 or so for it brand new. They're always on sale somewhere. And please don't use a little lavalier or clip-on microphone. We want great sound, right? Now, I'm not talking about when you're doing your in-house videos that we teach you. That's different. We're talking about doing audio only, high quality. See, the little lavaliers are not going to give you that deep, rich sound that we want that shows great quality. And so don't super cheap out on this when you can get great quality for cheap. And get in touch with me for recommendations or visit your local music store. Tell them your budget and what you're doing, and someone will even let you try the mic out to see how it sounds. Now, you'll also want a pop screen. This is a clip-on accessory that costs about $15 and helps keep your breath from making weird noise when you say certain sounds like B and P. Now, I'm going to simulate this for you so you hear P. Now, you probably could hear that that's going to make a nasty sound on my recording. I mean, go ahead and hold your hand in front of your mouth and say the letter P. You will feel your breath hit your hand. Well, that's like a sledgehammer hitting your microphone, okay? And a nasty sound it makes is very difficult or impossible to edit out. I even talk at an angle across my microphone so that my breath doesn't hit it. All right, next is recording and editing software. See, if you have a Mac, you already have GarageBand that's free on your GarageBand. I said GarageBand. GarageBand, it's free and it comes on your computer. If you have a PC, there's a free program called Audacity. I happen to use Adobe Audition, which I pay $20 a month for it. Now, I like it because it works like a charm, and it has a feature that I just love, and that's called noise reduction. Maybe other programs have it too. I don't know. I just know how to use it in Adobe. So what is noise reduction? Well, just because of the electronics of what you're doing, there's inherent noise in your recording. It comes from the microphone, the cables, electricity in your wall, and maybe from your air conditioning and fans and whatever else is running constantly and making noise. So what I do is I start the recorder, but I don't say anything. I'm basically recording all this noise. Then in Adobe, I highlight the section of that noise. It's called wave editing. You can see what your voice looks like on the screen. So you highlight just the blank place where you're not talking. And then I copy it. It's called taking a noise print. Then I tell Adobe, go through the entire file and remove that noise, the whole place. And then in a few seconds, all that noise is wiped clean, and I got a really clean recording. I really love that. It's just beautiful, and you can learn how to do it in maybe 3 minutes. Now, there's one other program that's a paid program that I like a lot called SoundForge. I actually used it for about 20 years. But anyway, I would just pick a program where someone willing to help you learn uses the same thing, right? But all of them have hundreds of tutorial videos on YouTube. All right. So now you got a USB microphone plugged into your computer, recording into recording software. Pretty simple. Now I want to teach you a technique that I used for over 20 years to have a finished recording with little or no editing as soon as I was done talking. And we're not talking about editing much in this particular thing. We just want you to produce great quality sound. All right, so here's what I would do. I would talk into the microphone, and if I would flub something up, I would just back up to the beginning of the flubbed up sentence and start recording over the thing that I flubbed up, okay? So now everything's trucking right along and there's no mistakes. Now, if I flub up again, I'd back up and record that sentence over the flubbed up sentence and so forth until I finished the recording. So by the time I got to the end, I had a finished recording that didn't require any editing other than if I was going to put music at the beginning and the end. This technique of fixing mistakes as you go can save you tons of time and editing. Now, when you're recording, you want to record at the highest quality possible. And then you distribute your recording as an MP3 file, which is much smaller in file size. See, you can't record at low quality and then make a high quality file. You record at high quality, and then you can always reduce the quality to make it easier for people to download. So it'll be much smaller. Now, on a PC, the highest quality is a .wav or a WAV file. On a Mac, it's called a .aiff file. But anyway, those are the highest qualities on a Mac and a PC. Now, one thing to know about MP3 files is that you can vary the quality of them. So let's say you start out with an hour-long audio in wave format. And it's mono as opposed to stereo. See, you don't need stereo for the spoken voice product because unless you plan on having an orchestra and a horn section in your lawn and the string section in your bathroom. It's just ridiculous. So if you use stereo, you're only doubling the file size and it's not going to sound any better. So you record in mono. And there's just settings on all of your programs to say stereo or mono. Easy. So let's say that mono recording of 1 hour is 325 megabytes as a WAV file. That is enormous. Nobody would want to download that to their iPhone on Wi-Fi or even hardwired. So you decide you better make the file smaller by converting it. And your software will do this for you. Any of the ones I said will do this for you to MP3. Well, what most people don't know is that MP3 files can be made in various qualities. You can have CD quality all the way down to one step above static. It's so bad. It sounds terrible, but the file size is really tiny. So here's an example. 1 hour of wave recording in mono is 325 megabytes. When you convert it to CD quality MP3, remember you're going to keep the high quality version always, forever. But then you're going to convert and make a separate version in MP3. So if you make it CD quality MP3, it's only 32 megabytes. It's 10 times smaller. And when I'm just creating training for my membership sites, in other words, I'm not selling a standalone product, I take it down even further to about 10 megabytes for an hour. That's 30 times smaller than the WAV file. It's still easy to listen to, but it's nowhere near the really rich quality of the CD quality. And by the way, most people couldn't tell the difference in sound between the full quality and the CD quality. So for our purposes of creating great products, CD quality, which is 10 times smaller, is just fine. All right, now here's one more piece of hardware you can get, or if you figure out how you do it, you can use software to achieve the same results. The hardware that I have is called a compressor limiter. Okay, so what does this do for you? All right, well, you got to consider how people are listening to your information. They could be jogging outside. They could be on a treadmill, riding a train or a bus or plane or automobile. They're probably listening on tiny earbuds as opposed to big, high-quality headphones in a quiet environment at their home. In other words, the listening environment is noisy and far from ideal. Well, guess what? That's the way the world is, and the world's not going to change for you. You got to adapt and make your recording the best it can be, knowing there will be other noises going on when people are listening. That's where a compressor comes in. And I know audio experts are going to throw up with my simple explanation. But like I said before, I want to keep this simple so you actually do what I'm telling you. All right, here's what I want you to picture in your mind. We're talking about compressors here. Hold your right hand palm up, not if you're driving. All right, hold your right hand out in front of you, palm up. Now in your left hand is an air-filled balloon. You're going to take your left hand, palm down, and place the balloon on top of your right hand, which is palm up. So you're basically holding a balloon between your hands, one palm up, one palm down. Then you're going to slowly press your hands towards each other. And don't press so hard that you burst the balloon, okay? So what happens to the balloon? It starts to get squished in between your hands. All the air is still in the balloon, but the top of the balloon is pushed down and the bottom of the balloon is pushed up. That's compression. See, compression in audio is taking the high frequencies and the low frequencies, which are both harder for the human ear to hear, and it squishes them into the middle where they are much easier to hear. And this process, and again, I know the audio experts are currently throwing up, is what makes your audio easy to listen to in noisy environments on little earbuds. And remember, you're being compared to other professional recordings. If they have trouble hearing yours and they don't have trouble hearing other people's recordings, you're going to lose a listener, maybe permanently. All right, so that's a compressor. All right, so what's a limiter? Well, it limits really loud sounds so they don't distort. So if something happens, let's say you burst into loud laughter, which would have distorted your recording. Well, the limiter cuts it off before the sound gets really bad. Again, it's a very simple explanation, but you do not want distortion because I don't think it can ever be fixed perfectly. And even if it was fixed, you'd need some really talented and experienced audio editing expert. And it would cost you money. So avoid distortion. So that's what a limiter does. And one other thing that my compressor limiter has is called a noise gate. This can be set so that any noises below a certain volume are cut out. And so if anything does sneak in that's not supposed to be there, that's very low level, it cuts it out of the recording for you. So this makes even the noise reduction process I discussed earlier even cleaner. Now, one other thing you're going to do is called normalize. And what that's going to do is it's going to take your audio and raise it up electronically to just a point before distortion so that you have the strongest signal. So that's called normalization, and every program does that too. Very easy to learn how to do. I mean, it's nothing more than highlight the file and click a button. Done. All right, now let's talk about music to make your production more professional. First of all, never, ever, ever use copyrighted music. You're asking for a federal lawsuit with staggering amounts of money if you get caught by the copyright police. Now, you can get copyright-free music from my friend Mike Stewart at the internetaudioguy.com, or another source would be musicbakery.com. I would go with Mike, so if you get stuck using the music, you got someone to call. This guy's got a gold record and been doing audio engineering forever, pretty much. Now, I don't put music throughout my entire production, only on the front and back. And the professional way to put music is to what they call mix it. In other words, in the beginning of your recording, the music fades down as your voice comes in. They overlap, kind of. And in the end of your production, the music fades in as you finish your recording. Now, don't let this worry you. Also, you can learn how to do this in about 15 minutes of training. No problem. But music adds a real polish to your recording. But don't hold up if you don't have music yet. You can always add it in later. Just do the recording. Now, a couple other issues I want to address before I turn you loose on the audio world. One is script or bullet points. I have done both successfully. Now, if you know your material, bullet points may be enough for you to get a darn good recording. You're just talking your way through it. I've got tons of them like this. But what you will find is that it's easier to knock out the recording, but you may spend more time on editing. Again, we're not covering editing on this episode. Now, if you want to make sure you get every detail into the recording, I suggest writing a script. I resisted this for a long time when I first started. I thought to myself, I wrote a book, but I don't know how to write a script. It's different. Well, after I buckled down and did it, of course, it was way easier than I thought. Now, for pretty much all of these podcasts on Mondays, when it's just me doing a training session, I pretty much write out a script. And I seriously doubt if anyone listening to this feels like I'm reading. But guess what? Here's the big secret. I've read every word of this so far except a couple of ad libs I threw. Here's the key. Write out everything you want to say word for word. Then read it out loud and change the script to reflect how you would really say something when you were talking. That's all there is to it. And then practice if you're talking to somebody. Pause. See, I just paused. All right? I didn't write that in there, but I just threw that in at the last second. But pause. Belt out stuff you're excited about. Get quiet when it's really serious stuff. See? So all of it's written out in a script. See, the more you can do things up front correctly, the less editing you'll have to do or have to pay somebody to do. So try it both ways, and with just bullet points one time and a full script another, and see which one you like the best, how good it goes for you. Okay, let's talk briefly about delivering your product. Well, for me, I've got tons of other Monday sessions on this, on how to sell stuff and all that, but you're going to deliver your product. You sell it off your website with a sales letter. You kickstart cart to shopping cart system delivers it after they pay automatically. There you go. You're done. But some people will want to take it to another level. And one place that will possibly help you with this is called audible.com. And I've got a link to their submission page if you think you want to go big time. Now, keep in mind, it has to be unique material. You can't sell it anywhere else if you use Audible, but they'll make a deal with you. So I'm going to read you just the first 3 paragraphs from their submission guidelines, word for word here. All right, here we go. Here at Audible, we're in search of the next generation of great audio storytellers, which is why we're introducing a thing called Pitch at Audible. We're looking for original, unpublished English language works of fiction and nonfiction that are crafted for the listening experience. We encourage outstanding storytellers across mediums, from novelists to journalists, podcasters to filmmakers, to submit their best audio ideas to be considered as an Audible original. Pitch at Audible will consider completed scripts, manuscripts, and audio, as well as proposals with sample writing and/or audio. Audible Originals publishes both short form, 5,000 to 15,000 words, which is about 30 to 90 minutes, and long form, over 15,000 words, it's over 90 minutes. Accepted submissions will receive an exclusive development deal with Audible Originals, which includes best-in-class editorial, production, and marketing support. And then they give way more details below that. So I'll have the link there if you want to go big time for there. All right, so if you want help doing everything I covered today, check out my mentor program, where myself and my entire staff are going to tutor you, not only on this topic, but all the other topics to be successful and have a successful business online. GreatInternetMarketingTraining.com is the longest running, most successful ever, and most unique mentor program in the field of internet marketing. You spend an immersion weekend at the retreat center here in Virginia Beach. Of course, not until the pandemic thing's gone, but we don't even let people come here for at least 4 months after they join, so that they're not deer in the headlights the whole time around here. And then the other thing that's unique is that I don't do any group stuff other than the retreat, which is maybe 5 people here. All of your training is one-on-one tutoring directly by me or people that I have trained. And the shortest time people have been here is 6 years. That's the shortest time an employee. We have some are 12 years, one's 18 years. See, so these people know their stuff and they were trained by me. So it's one-on-one, because I don't like group in that if I'm talking to a beginner, the advanced people are bored. If I'm talking to the advanced people, the beginners are lost. No good. You can't make progress that way. So, and I have a unique system of how you pay for this, that my success is tied to your success. People loved this when I turned the guru world on its head 20 years ago and just charged a relatively small entry fee and then a percentage of profits that's capped. So you're not stuck with me forever. And it's a $50,000 commission. But for me to get my $50,000, you have to make $200,000. and then you don't owe another nickel, and I don't get any of it unless you make money. All right, so you can be sure I won't disappear on you like a lot of those other people would if you gave them $50,000. So anyway, it's the most successful, longest running, most unique. We teach you video, everything you can imagine on internet marketing so that you can have a successful online business. And you won't worry about pandemics. There you go. All right, so that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Go out and make some great audio. If you want my help, get in touch, greatinternetmarketingtraining.com. Also, consider the school for yourself or young people in your life, because you couldn't do anything better for them than to give them a highly in-demand career skill. And if you're in my mentor program, you get a scholarship to the school, which you can gift to them. So no place on earth. I'll put this program up against anybody you can come up with on this earth. I don't care how big a name they are, because a super big name's never going to talk to you ever. All right. You talk to me one-on-one and I teach you stuff. Nobody will do that. Nobody will even talk to you, let alone actually teach you something. So check it out, greatinternetmarketingtraining.com and imtcva.org. And I will catch you on the next episode. See you later.